Hey guys, welcome to Mara's Junk Drawer. I am Mara, and today I'm going to be sharing my top 10 books that I read in 2024. Okay, so let's get into it. These are in no particular order. These are just, like I said, no particular order, okay? Okay, so first we're going to start with a reel. I will also put like all the books on the screen wherever, maybe on this side, because I don't know why it's not that much room over here. I'm looking at myself in my viewfinder. But anyways, so yeah, I will put the books on the screen. So the first one we're going to start with is Real by Kennedy Ryan. And I absolutely love this book. Like from the book to the audiobook, like whole production. Like the books is like in like Harlem Renaissance type vibe. And the book is following a producer and the main character, Neve, and she becomes the actor in this producer's film of a ex-jazz musician, Bessie. I think her name is Bessie. I'm not 100% sure. So it's like he's creating a movie from her diary. And so in the book, it's like Neve's point of view and then his point of view, as well as the script of the movie, and then like bits and pieces of the actor or the old artist that they're trying to make a movie about, like a couple of her diary entries. So I would say I do have the book somewhere. Here it is. Let me see. I just hate like taking all these books down, but I don't like the new cover. Like so many people like the new cover. I do love the artwork, but I just feel like that particular artwork was just does not like do the book any justice. What is the artist's name? Canon and Neve, and then what is the artist that they're trying to? Oh, Desi Blue. I call her Bessie. I think I call her Bessie. But yeah, this cover eats so bad. Like what? Compared to the new cover, I'm so glad I have this cover. But I would recommend listening to the audiobook as well as reading the book together just so that you can get the full experience because like I said, there's like the script in here, like the movie script right here. So it's just a whole production. So I definitely would recommend getting the audiobook and reading along with the book like together if you're able to do that. If not, then I would just suggest that you purchase the book so you can have it on your bookshelf and then listen to the audiobook. The next one is Blacktop Wasteland by S.A. Cosby. If you watched any of my videos from Black November, so for the month of November, I read books only by Black male authors, just inspired by No Shave November. And so I completed S.A. Cosby's whole catalog in the month of November, and Blacktop Wasteland ended up being my favorite book because, as I've said multiple times, like it's mainly money heist and like Grand Theft Auto type Fast and Furious type vibe. So that's why this one was my favorite because I eat both of those things up. Fast and Furious is like one of my favorite like movie series. So Blacktop Wasteland by S.A. Cosby definitely made it to my top 10. Yellow Wife by Sadiqa Johnson. Where is Yellow Wife? Child, oh, here she go. So this book, I ate this book up. So this book is based off the real life woman named, I think her name is Mary Lumpkins. So this book, the main character is Phoebe Dolores Brown, but the book is inspired by the real life of Mary Lumpkin. Takes place in Virginia, and Phoebe ends up on a plantation called the Devil's Acre. I think it's called the Devil's Acre, and then she renamed it to God's Acre. She ended up making the plantation into a HBCU, I think, and But she ends up getting sold to this nasty man. She pretty much ends up being his wife, but of course back then it's not wife, but she's like the house mistress to the master, who his plantation is like, he has a jail on his plantation. And so yeah, it's like Devil's Acre because that's the type of energy it exudes. But ate this book up. Like, if you are a historical fiction lover, specifically a Black historical fiction lover like myself, who is obsessed with like slave narratives and things like that, you will absolutely eat this up. Like, she was in her bag when she wrote this book. In her bag. Next, we have Fast by Millie Belizaire. I don't know if I said her last name right, but I cannot stop thinking about this book. Like, still to this day, I think of Sean and Caprice all the time. Like, this book is going to be really hard to read as far as like the emotional triggers that are in this book, but beautiful. It was so beautifully written. Like, once again, she was in her bag with this one. Next, we have The Color of Water by James McBride. Baby, if you haven't read this book, stop what you're doing and go move it up on your TBR. It is a memoir, and it's like two memoirs in one, which I'm not sure why his mother's name is not included on this, but it's like two memoirs in one because it's like James McBride telling his story as well as his mother telling her story. So he had a Jewish mother and a Black father, and she birthed 12 children, and had to raise them by herself due to being a widow twice. And phenomenal book. Like, just all of the yeah, you just have to go read it. Just go read it. Definitely a top 10 book. Next, we have James by Percival Everett. Of course, this book is going to make it in everybody's top something, whether it's top 1, top 3, top 5, top 10. A big Everett is going to be in there. And yeah, I'm sure most of the world has read this book, so I mean, I don't really have much to say about it. I did speak about it in one of my reading wrap-ups in November because this is one of the books that was a part of my Black November, so Big Everett definitely had to make the list. Next, we have The 7-Year Slip. The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. Baby, this is one of my favorite books. Like, I keep trying to downplay, like, if it's in my top 5. Is it, like, why do I keep questioning myself? I think I'm going to read it again to see where she stands. But I read this book and I fell so in love with it. Like, I don't know why, but it's just like the vibe of the book. I don't know if it's because I read it in the summer, in the period, like the season that I was reading the book was also the vibe in the book. So I don't know if it was that, but baby, I ate this book up. I could not put it down. It was just, it's time travel, so it is magical realism, and she is the author who made me fall in love with magical realism. I was skeptical about magical realism because if you're new to my channel, nonfiction is my favorite genre, as well as Black historical fiction. So, you know, like, I just don't get into like that type of fiction, but I'm glad I gave it a chance, and I'm glad I did expand my horizons this year and allow myself to read outside of what I normally read to, you know, explore other things that I like as a reader. And magical realism, I literally, after reading this book, I finished her whole catalog this year as well. So yeah, The 7-Year Slip definitely has time travel in here. So if you're a fan of time travel, go check it out. The next book, I don't have this book on my bookshelf, but it is The Message by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Go read it. That's all I'm gonna say. Go read it. It is a hard read to read, as well as it is a hard read. It's a must read, but it's a hard read. So I would recommend you listening to the audiobook in order to grasp what is being discussed a little more. And then I would say, like, if you're actually committed to wanting to bask in the layers in the book, then to read the book so that you can go annotate. But I would say if you just want to experience the book, to listen to it on audiobook. The next book, also I don't have this book, is on my bookshelf, is The Reformatory. I just read this book for in the month of December. That was the only book on my TBR for the month of December, and I loved it. If you're a Black historical fiction lover, you're going to eat it up. I checked this book out from the library, and yeah, it is based off the Dozier, I think it's Dozier, that's how you say it, School for Boys in Florida from way back in the day. And Tanana Raibdu, her family member, one of her uncles, her great uncle, actually attended the school and passed away at the school. So the main character was in homage to her uncle who passed away. So I thought that was pretty cool. So it pretty much follows the main character who gets sentenced because of an incident that happened with one of his neighbors who was white, and he gets sentenced to have to go to this reformatory. And all the boys in the school, well, some of the adults too, are able to see the ghost of the boys from the school who passed away. So all of like the crime or like the what am I trying to say? All the boys that were pretty much brutally murdered in the school are ghosts haunting the school. And the main character, he pretty much is able to see, like, connect with the ghosts more on a deeper level. And so, you know what? I don't want to continue to say what I was going to say because it might give it away. But great book. That was the only book that I've actually finished from Tanana Raibdu, because the only other book that I started of her catalog was The In Between. And like I said in my previous video, that book made me feel like I was in the in between. So I need to read something else from her because I really did like The Reformatory. I do like her writing style. I love her depth. I love the layers that she puts in her books. It's not surface level at all. And some things, like, you will have to know, like, if you know what I mean. Like, if you know, you know. So yeah. And then the last one on my list, let me see, did we go to 10? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. So this is the last one. So the last one, I have A Piece of Cake. Is it A Piece of Cake? Hold on, y'all. Let me find the book. Y'all, this book wrecked me completely. It took me forever to read this book. I read the physical copy. I read the ebook, as well as listening to it on audio. It literally took me so long to finish this book. I mean, it is a chunker, but it is not the fact that it's a chunker. It's the fact that it's almost 500 pages. How many pages? It's 472 pages in this book. But it's the fact that this girl, Cupcake Brown, went through so much. So much. This book was on my TBR since like high school, like almost 10 years. Because I would always see this book in the bookstore. And I think it's just the cover is very inviting. But like, I don't know, maybe God just knew, like, girl, you ain't ready to read this. Because it just takes a lot of lot of energy to be able to get through this book. Like, when I say a lot, like, even the first 3 chapters are going to wreck you so bad to the point where you're like, I don't know if I'll be able to finish this book. Like, that's how I feel. Like, what's that one book that you guys be like crying over all the time? A Little Life. I feel like that book is what this book would do to you. This book is just going to emotionally wreck you. It's a great memoir. It's definitely going to push a top 3, top 10. It's definitely pushing top 3 of memoirs that I've read thus far. But it's just, yeah, it's going to be an emotionally challenging book to read. But I thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, those are my 10 books of 2024, my favorite or my top 10 books of 2024 that I've read. All of these books I still think about. I love them. Like, these are books that I would actually reread. Actually, A Piece of Cake, I don't think I could read that one again. It's like I would want to read it again to re-experience the greatness, or like, experience parts of the book that I felt like I missed. But I don't know. But I definitely want to re-experience Yellow Wife and Fast. Those two I definitely want to re-experience for sure. And The 7 Year Slip and The Color of Water. Like, The Color of Water, I just want to go back and annotate because there's just so many layers in that book. And then Fast, I need to re-experience, even though that one's very emotionally challenging as well. Yellow Wife, I just need those vibes again. Yellow Wife, I think, is like one of those favorite comfort books. And then The 7 Year Slip, I think, would be a comfort book, like a reread that I would have to read like every summer, every spring or summer type vibe. And real, I want to experience that on the TV. They need to create a movie for that, because what? That would eat down for sure. So yeah, those are my top 10 books of 2024. If you made it this far into the video, I thank you so much for watching. If you read any of these books, let me know what you thought about them. Go ahead and show your girl some love down in the comments. Go ahead and like this video. And if you have not done so already, why not? Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Lock in with your girl, because what? It's nice and chill over here, baby. Yes. And I will see you guys in my next video.